So hello, I'm Mrs. Thomas. For those of you who don't know me or haven't met me, I'm the teacher in Rabbit's class, and today I'm going to talk to you about phonics. So I know lots of you can get worried about phonics. That's not how you learn to read at school. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry. We will take you through each step. Today we're going to teach you just the basics and recognising the sounds. So we teach using something called Jolly Phonics at Pashley in early years and year 1 and up in year 2. The reason we choose Jolly Phonics is we look at the sound, there's a visual picture, there's an action, and there is also a song. And the children learn all 4. And as we're doing it, all the displays in class have got the visuals, we learn the songs, we do the actions with them. So it's multi-learning for them. And it works really, really well, and those go up through the school. So you will have been sent home this week, set 1, the very first set of the phonic sounds. Now, we call them phonemes. So you may have been talking about, this is the letter S. Yes, you're quite right. It is called the letter S, but the sound it makes when we talk is S. Okay, so this is the letter S. Its real name is S, but it makes the sound S. And that is the phoneme. Phone as in, think of the word phone as in telephone. It's the sound you can hear. So when we talk about phonemes, we're just talking about the sounds that these letters make. Okay, now pronunciation is really, really important. So you have to be really careful, and it's really hard when you don't know it. So there are lots of things you can do. And here are some CBeebies alpha blocks. If you don't know how to pronounce the sounds correctly, go in, watch it with your children, and they will do it with you. Another really great one is Teach Your Monster to Read. If you want an app, it is paid for. It was free the other day, so if you didn't download it, you missed it. If you access it on a laptop, it's free. If you have to do it through a tablet or your phone, it's paid for, but every now and again they have a couple of days where it's free, so keep your eyes out on our Facebook page. Then we've got phonicsplay.co.uk. There's some games on there you can join in with, and Phonics Bloom. On YouTube, the Jolly Phonics songs are really good, and if you're not sure about pronunciation, go on to the Letters and Sounds for Home. They do all the pronunciation on there for you. But one of the things you've got to be really careful about is adding a schwa. And I will do a separate video going through the sounds and talking about the schwa. But the reason is, when you're saying, if you're looking at the letter D and you're saying the sound D, lots of people say duh. And actually duh is different. For the letter M, not m. It's got that sound on the end. And if you add that on, actually, it sounds like the sound to children. And when it comes to the writing, they start to make mistakes. So listen while you sit with your child on these programs, and listen carefully yourselves and get the sounds right. If you teach them wrong, it's really hard to break it. Don't panic. We are teaching them in school. We are teaching them correctly. So if they say to you, you've not got it right, listen to them and they will teach you. So what can you do at home with your games? Okay, you've got the sheet, which will give you the actions, and it'll give you how to pronounce it. Once again, use YouTube. There's so much on there. Geraldine the Giraffe is brilliant. And there are some activities. So I just thought I would go through some of these activities for you and play them with you, so you can see what you can do at home with your child. We have given you the first 4 sounds that we have got at home. We have got S, S. We have got A, A. We have given you T. And we look like we're on a tennis match. T, T, T. And we have learned P. Not P, P, P. It's quite a soft sound. So these 4 sounds will be coming home, and on the outside are the pictures that the children recognise. Okay, but we haven't given you 1 set, we've given you 2 sets. So you can play games at home. So one of the most obvious games you can play at home would be Snap. Okay, so I'm just going to teach you, most people know how to play Snap. I'm just going to show you a way of reinforcing the sounds with your children all the time when you play with them. So I'll just bring that down. When we're playing Snap, I'll jumble them up and I'll pretend to be two people. So you've got your two piles. It's up to you how you play the rules at home. But as you turn it over, every time one of you turns it over, you have to say the sound. And then the other person can turn it over. And even though it's not Snap, they still have to go P. And a really great way of doing this is if your child doesn't know it, you say the sound and then they copy it after you, no matter whose turn it is. So they're constantly repeating it over and over as they look. The one thing with Snap is make sure they put the letters up the right way round, or else, if you were probably doing here, I was doing it facing me, but the P can look like a D. And the D and the B can look different. So make sure that they're always facing the correct way to your child. So you want to be really facing the same, sitting the same way, not opposite each other. So once again, you would just continue that game, turning them over. I should do it that way so you can see. Ah. Ah. Snap. Okay, really, really simple, but the children really love it. Not only do these games teach them phonics, but it's also teaching them term taking, it's teaching them how to lose, it's teaching them concentration, focus, listening. So it's all the skills that they need for school. So another game you can play is matching pairs. Now, to begin with, I would probably just use 3 sets, so 3 matching pairs. So I'm going to take one sound out, and you might want to take the sound out that they find really hard to begin with. Keep it easy, don't try and make it too tricky, too difficult. As they're getting it easier, just slide another sound in that they find tricky. So with this one, so you might know it as the memory game, or matching pairs, or Pelmanism, which is its correct name. We would have your matching pairs and we would lay them down. This is excellent for memory, and this is something that the children really struggle with nowadays because they are constantly told what to do, constantly everything's instant, and they don't have to retain anything in their memory. So you can build this up as they get more and more cards, but I would start out with 6 to begin with, and they take in turns, so they would turn it over. I'll do it for you, and it would go Ah. They're not a pair, so we would turn them back over, but they have to remember where they were. Then it's somebody else's go, the next turn. Remember, every time I turn it over, I'm repeating the sound. And I can remember, oh, and I've won that one. So away that goes, that becomes mine. If you can do the actions with them, even better. Some children need to see the actions all the time. Ah, ah. They're not a matching pair, so they go over. S. S. Matching pair, and they love this bit when they know they can turn them over. Ah, and they've already won. Ah, ah, ah. And something we like to do at school as well is when they've got all their sets and you've got the ones you've won and they've got the ones they've won, they then have to tell you what sounds they've won and you have to repeat what sounds they've won. Once again, it's just reinforcing all the time, constantly saying the sounds over and over. So that is Pelmanism, that is the memory game. So that's one of them. Another memory game we play. Now you can play this with objects. This is just to play with it with phonics. You can play it with numbers for maths. You can play it with lots of things. It's Kim's game. So if you're as old as I am, you might have played this when you were younger. If not, I will teach you Kim's game. It's quite an old-fashioned game, but actually the kids love it. And once again, it's brilliant for memory, for spotting what's missing. So when you play Kim's game, when I was younger, we used to have a tray of objects and you can put these down. And as you build up the sounds, you can make it trickier for them and put more and more sounds. It's trickier for me because I'm trying to work out which one is missing. Okay, So you can have them jumbled up, you can have them in an array, it's up to you. So you would get the child to look at them and you could get them to tell you the sound. So p, t, a, s. Okay, then you will cover it with a cloth. Now to begin with, this might seem really obvious to you because you're a bit grown up and you know how to do it, but to begin with, just taking one away but keeping them in the spot and then revealing it and asking them what sound is missing. Can they remember what sound is missing? And they will see that it's here, okay? So they might realise that they said p, t, a, s. So they might remember it's the p. They might remember that there's no pink here, or they might have to say the other sounds to work out what is missing. Okay, this is quite tricky, so don't jumble them up as you do it. If they get really strong at this, as you've put the cloth over, you might want to then mix them up so that they've got to work out from the sounds they know which one is missing. Once again, look at all the sounds and then get them to tell you what is missing. When they are correct, look at the sound and say the sound. Okay, so that's Kim's game, and once again, if you just want to play that with other things, they can get their toys out at home and you can put a few things out, cover them, take one away and see if they can work out what is missing. Great for memory, great for focus, concentration, listening, thinking, problem solving. Really, really great game. Another game I was going to teach you. Now, some of you might think, oh, my children won't sit still and play these games with me. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry. So these cards, you can scatter them around the floor, okay? At home, in the lounge. Now in school we use bean bags and we would throw a bean bag, get them to throw a bean bag at a sound, and as they hit the sound, they have to go and look at it and say the sound. You might want to say it 3 times, you might want to say it 2 times. At home, instead of bean bags, what works really well is a pair of socks or rolled up into a ball, and then you can throw that around the room. Nothing gets broken. It's aiming, it's focusing, it's throwing, it's physical, so that works well. The other one is to pin them around the walls, blue tack them on the walls, and they've got to throw the socks at the sounds, and every time they hit one, they've got to say the sound. Or you can give them the sound and then they've got to find it on the wall and then throw the sock at it. Another one, you can have them pinned up if outside or on the wall, and they've got to run to the sound if you want them to be a little bit active. Or you can have them scattered around on the sofa, on the floor, and they've got to jump on them. Or you might, if you want listening for instructions, you might say jump on the t sound 3 times and say it. Sit on the s sound. So give them different instructions if that's something that they're working on at home as well. So those are all different games. Now today's session was just about recognising the letters, talking about the sound. So another thing you can be doing at home is when you've got different ones is talking about the shapes that you can see. So talking about how you notice it goes long and then across and it's got a line across, talking about the shapes, making them see the shapes within the letters, letting them look at how they're different, okay, tracing them with their fingers, letting them feel that shape, letting them see how their fingers are going in different ways. So talking, tracing, talking about the shapes, talking about what they can see, what's different and what's the same, because some letters do look the same and some are different. This is all about recognising the letters and recognising and knowing the sounds. I will do another video in a couple of weeks on blending, which is the first step into reading. But at the moment, we just want you to work having fun, recognising the sounds. Don't make it too difficult for them. Keep it fun, reward them. Short, don't play too many games, just one game. You can do this instead of reading and write it into their reading diaries. If there's sounds they're struggling with, let us know in the reading diaries or email us and we'll give you tips to help them. And once again, access all the videos. If you've got any problems, speak to your teacher, but it's just a few games, few ideas of things you can do with phonics and have fun with it. Okay, they love phonics in class. Teach them the songs, let them listen to, record them singing the songs at home, put it on tapestry to show us how they've been learning them at home as well. Have fun, have a lovely weekend, take care, bye.